Shalom. I give all uncommon praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, QADASH. I want to the elders of Apostle Great Muslim, teaching the Church of Sincerity, that teaches the hopeful that is birth of the witness of the earth. This is they're going to be a Dailyverse of Philippians 4:8. It reads, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praises, think of these things, okay? Think of excellence, right, is the subheading for this particular verse I'm reading, all right? Think of excellence. Let me write excellence up. All right, superiority, right? When we think of excellence, when we think of superiority, we think of what? Something on high. We think of the other things above, okay? More in the spirit, okay? As I'm going to read here, Philippians 4:1 says, therefore, I like to read up, right, to just get the context, okay? Because when you read up, more likely when you read up, there's it gives context to the verse you're actually reading. It says that Philippians 4:1 says, therefore, my brethren, dearly beloved and longed for my joy and crown. My joy and crown referring to what? The new bodies, right, and the crown of life, ultimately, right? The crown for the crown of life will present you're ruling for everlasting life, okay? You're ruling for eternity, right? You're living for eternity, right? So stand fast in the Lord, my dearly beloved. Now, when you read down to Philippians 4:8, read finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, okay? As it, we have to think of these things, right? Because these are things that represent a righteous brother. So we're saying righteous brothers in a righteous brother in the Lord, right? A sincere. I'm gonna say right. I'm gonna say a sincere, okay, brother, okay. They will be thinking of these things, right? If you were an elect of the Lord, YAHAWASHI will be thinking of these things, right? Thinking of things that are, just, righteous, okay, pure, right, holy, right? Things that are of a good report, okay? Not evil thoughts, not evil things, right? And that's why, that's why when we're it's basically going to having a mindset ultimately, having a spiritual mindset, right? Not letting your carnal, okay, not letting this flesh, because we're in this, we're in this chain of darkness, right? And then sometimes this flesh, it creeps in those evil, carnal, wicked thoughts, okay? But we've been reminded here to we're reminded to keep our mind in a spiritual. We're reminded to keep our mind, okay, now our thoughts, our thinking, our spirit in a spiritual mindset, right? Which and we're just reminded to keep ultimately to keep enduring ultimately, keep enduring, to keep continue firmly in the faith, right? To continue the battle, right? To continue to get up and fight, and continue to push on, right? Push on to the finish line, right? How do we push on to the finish line, right? By, ultimately, ultimately to the strength referred to YAHAWASHI and keeping our mind and heart in YAHAWASHI, right? Taking of these, virtues, right? Put it on as the elect, okay? So I'm going to close here by giving honor and praise to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, and some say shalom.